Welcome back to Titanium Hangar. This is Mike, and I'm coming at you with the weekly news and review for November 3rd, 2024, and we've got news. A lot of this Tfcon, I gotta say, it probably is not the most exciting Tfcon we've ever been to, but there are some reveals. There's some absolutely, completely unnecessary bot blocking going on. Yep, got stuff to say about that. There's some TMNT stuff from Super 7. We've got some DC stuff to talk about and some reveals there. A couple of GI Joe things, and I gotta say, I went ahead and caved and got Nemesis Enforcer. I'll tell you why. I do think it looks better with the alternate head and the better pictures, and I think better pictures do a world of justice for it. Speaking of justice, we've got some Page Puncher Superman stuff going on, and Toxic Crusaders, some more Toxic Crusader stuff. Then updates on the real Ghostbusters and free shipping. And then some Star Wars news. Yeah, there actually is very little, but some Star Wars news. This and more coming up. Starting out with what's new at Show.Z store, we've got the New Age 866 Bomber Gears and Swerve set of 2. I bet it's going to be $50, $1 down. We'll look at the pictures here in a bit. Gotta save some stuff for TFCon. We've got the KFC P15 Grand Rajan Super. It's Optimus Prime, Power Master Optimus Prime. It'll have a cardboard chest cut out. It's not going to have the Prime that goes inside that chest yet. But this one's on sale, $20 off, $175, and it's only on sale for 30 days, but it's already been on sale for at least a week. So anyway, if you're interested in this, $175 is a pretty good price, and I'm betting it's on sale in anticipation of the Takara one coming out by either December, something like that. The Fans Hobby MB32 Metal Hawk is up for pre-order, $1 down, no price just yet, and we've seen pictures of this project, and it looks pretty good if you're interested in snagging that. And if you like Legends, and you like a Minosaur, and you missed out on the Magic Square, which I don't know why they're not putting another one out, but still, here is Rising Force, the RFL05 Magma Motor Master. It is $90, currently on sale. Alright, so before we get into the TFCon slideshow, I'm going to try to talk about a few other things that aren't covered in that, of course. X-Transbots got their box art out for their next Constructicon, or at least is this a picture of the box art. Looks kind of cool, pretty interesting, and I do look forward to checking this one out. And I think isn't this the same one that we already saw from Fans Toys? But anyway, both of them battling it head to head, and we're going to see that. We're going to see a lot of the X-Transbots versus Fans Toys battling it out. Actually, competition is good, but it leads to a very narrow product offering for the short term. It's kind of sucks in a way, but we'll get into all this. And that box art, I thought this picture captured both, but I guess it didn't, was the Jansen toy version, if you're interested in that one, and then the Nemesis, which is black repaint, both of those box arts, meaning this is stuff in the pipeline coming pretty soon for X-Transbots. We'll start with a few things from the dealer room before we get into the TFCon stuff, but this is the New Age Romulus. It's their Megatron, which is basically Chuck scale, basically Earthrise scale. People believe it won't match up to the Commander class Optimus Prime, but it is probably a little short to the Commander class. But still, it is the best option that you're going to have as a Chug collector to get a transforming Megatron, so it is pretty cool. I mean, it's going to transform into a gun, unlike every other Megatron that's for the Chug scale. I also want to point out that Commander class Optimus Prime is starting to show up at Targets, and if you use their 25% off of one item, that takes it from 90 down to about 75% off with your red card. And yes, I found one for my son. That's what he's getting for Christmas, and he's kind of excited. The surprise is ruined, but the excitement is still worthwhile, so I'll get to check it out then. And here's a project called the Hengokin Forever Leader, and this is another one that I don't believe this is Masterpiece scale. I don't believe it's Legends. I think it's more of chug scale, but I don't have a lot of information about this. I think we've seen a bit about this before, but it would be interesting to get size and more information on this. I'm sure lots more information is coming down the pipeline, but this was at the dealer room. This was a real item, not just a slide. Although we're going to see a little bit more about this in here, we have got the MMC Devastator, and you know they're winning because they're done first. And so those people that were in on the set will be getting this set before, say, X-Transbots or Fans Toys. It is the 18-inch, and it's not 100% perfect, but I think they did a pretty good job on it. I like the look of it. It looks pretty good. And at the 18-inch scale, and it works. It works in a Masterpiece scale, works in a Masterpiece display. Colorations are a little bit different on this, but anyhow, we'll see a little bit more of that here in a bit. And then we got some Iacon stuff going on here, and we're going to see some more of that, other pictures. But this is real product that they've actually made. Really cool stuff. The stuff that they make, backgrounds, display, all of that kind of stuff, makes your collection display pop with some of the products that they make. And that's just for figure I'd show that off. This we did have that Battle Beast video not too long ago. Non-F Productions making these figures here that look, and like some people say, exactly like these Battle Beasts, which is pretty cool. And then I'm not sure what this monster figure is from Non-F Productions, but it is interesting looking, pretty cool monster they've got going on back here. And then we've got the, so this is pretty much Dino Riders that they're making for the most part, but they're bigger, and so it's not the exact same thing, and it's very similar yet different, but yet still the same. So if you put them side by side with the original, this looks different, but with a modern take, kind of like every other company. Then how we do things, where we get a modern iteration that is just a little bit better than the vintage, and I do believe it is better than vintage stuff, but vintage stuff has that charm. Non-F also is making paddles, or an upgrade kit for your sludge, so that you can have the sixth Dinobot of paddles if you want to. But you got to buy an extra sludge, of course. Just upgrade that one to a paddles. Now, getting into the Tfcon Baltimore third-party panel. Again, this was a bit, in a way, disappointing because some of the big hitters didn't represent the way I thought they would, and some of the stuff they're doing I don't think is worth it. But we're going to get into talking about this. Now, this one here is a Defense making a, was it the video game Fall of Cybertron Grimlock? Is that what it is? And it's Legend scale. Looks pretty cool. I probably will pick one of these up. There is the alt mode to that. And yes, definitely looks like it should. It's a pretty cool looking figure. And for the Legend scale, I really felt like, it seems like a lot of people that are at TFCon were there for the Legends over the Masterpiece. Okay, so I'm looking at the slides because I'm really not sure what this is, but it says it is Armada Demolisher, the MSS-03, with a question mark next to it. But I'm not 100% sure about all of that, but pretty interesting stuff. And then it's next to what's the O2R, the Armada Seeker Hellwarp Skybite head. Is that what that is? So some of the stuff I'm not really very sure about. Now, can we get into the New Age Megatron? Now, I'm not going to go into this because we've anything that we've talked about a lot on this channel, I'm not going to go deep on this because it'll just take an hour or so. Anyway, they showed it and they said this said good things about it. They have it in hand. They could handle it. They said the joints, articulation, all that's really great. And so they were very impressed with this figure, which, by the way, I'm excited for it too. And I'll tell you this, the Legends version of Megatron, I was highly disappointed in the New Age Megatron for their Legends, and I'm glad they've got this opportunity to fix it, but not just keep it Legends, to offer something new. Alright, so this is something we've known about, Oddball Warpath, but new pictures, and again, New Age always presents well with paint. It looks great. I just reviewed one of these MPH Studio / is it Mechanic Studio? Well, anyway, MPH one is okay. It's a good one. This one probably will be a little bit better, and a little, oddly enough, Oddball, a little bit bigger. And then we've got the Bomber 866 and their gears, which looks great. And yes, it's going to look much more premium than what the Magic Square did, although I do like the design of the Magic Square, so we're getting into that battle again. And so I will pick this set up to check it out. On one hand, I'm glad you can get both of them with one purchase. On the other hand, most people would have just bought gears for 25 and gone down the road. So this is why they do this business model of forcing you to buy both. I don't think there's a problem with that. But anyway, this is 868 Bofer. Now these are some things from Icon Labs I didn't really see at the dealer table. So I'm guessing this is upcoming stuff, or they just didn't have it at the dealer table. So pretty cool little chair and display kind of stuff we got going on here. And then in the background, you've got this chamber. When I see that little chamber there, I kind of think of in the Beast Wars where they kept coming up that little elevator thing. That's what that feels like to me. But definitely in the G1 sort of art colors. All this stuff looks to be made for Legends scale. And I don't have all the information on all this stuff, but it looks like it would be a nice display stand, a tiered display stand to display all of your stuff. That's the way it feels to me. And you do it for Decepticons also if you're in for that. This just looks cool no matter what you're displaying on it. I mean, you could put pretty much any 80s toy line on it and it'll look great, especially with the purple. So now we get into... This is the Iron Factory stuff where they're working on their combiner, and this green one looks pretty cool here. And it turns into a helicopter, a helichopper. And is this Lio Kaiser? I believe stuff that I'm not 100% sure. They say Death Crow or Lio Kaiser, and then something about the Fallen is what's being shown here. But still pretty cool combiner. It looks good. I mean, the stuff that they make looks really cool. Very stylized if you're in on all of that stuff. And then they've got this one here. So is this the one, the Fallen? This thing does look pretty cool. They do have several really good pictures of it, but I'm just going through the bare bones of the pictures for time's sake. I can't be here for an hour. And there is the alt mode, looking pretty cool. Then we get into Craftsman toys. They are... Oh, it's not Craftsman. This is... Get on this slide here. This is TFC Toys, their Hunger. Finally finishing up their Hunger. Well, you know, this has been sort of teased all year now. And this is what we're getting at Tfcon. Does that mean they're a step closer? Or is it going to happen in 2025? I don't know. I really couldn't hear what he was saying about it. But looks pretty cool. And it doesn't look any different than the pictures we've been seeing before. But I guess the fact that they're including this means that they're definitely working on it. And it's going to happen. A lot of people said it's been like 5 years, 6 years in the works, in the making, just waiting for this thing. And it looks good. As a team, it looks good in both modes. And there it is. And then, way too many pictures here for this thing. Combined mode. So I think this is what most people are wanting it for, the combined mode. And it does look good. And silly me, because I wasn't in on this set. I mean, I thought it was done 5 years ago. And people have had this in their collection. So maybe, evidently I was wrong on that. All right, now we're getting into Craftsman toys, and this is the Technobots for the Computron. They look good. Alt modes look good. And with that, we need someone to do a good Computron. And then there is the leg mode. I believe the Craftsman one is it? I'm not even sure about scale on this one. I got to look that up. But I do believe it's Scramble City, meaning that you can put the limbs either on the leg or on the arm, which is kind of the old school way to do things. And here we go with a couple of the bots in the bot mode. Then there's the jet, which looks pretty cool. And so with this, though, it is still a bit stylized. But I got to say, it is in combined mode. It's looking like it's going to be pretty good looking. But I think it's going to be G1 enough for me. If it's G1 enough for me, it's G1 enough for most people out there. But it's sort of an exciting... I need to go look that up. Yeah, according to Show.Z store, Craftsman is going to be Masterpiece scale. So, Masterpiece, MP. All right, getting into this Starscream. This is Collection Space, and we've seen this before. I just figured I'd throw some pictures in there. This is Masterpiece, and this is the one that made the Bumblebee and the Cliffjumper as Fembots, and now Starscream as Fembot. It's pretty cool. Kind of interesting. You can also get, remember those statues they were making that had Prime, Megatron, and all of them as Fembots? So, kind of in that same avenue there. This is the Make Toys MTRC08 Violet Hour, another recolor of this mold, and it is an exclusive for the con. They're just, I guess, every single con's going to get a different color. I think they're limiting at 200. Yep, it says down there 200 pieces. So it's a small production run. Trying to just get some money. Hopefully they use that money to get us the Headmasters. I mean, that'd be good, right? Next up, I'm not going to spend much time on this either. Iron Trans, Victory Saber, and Victory Leo. Thing about this is that we still don't have prototype pictures. These have been up for months, but it's still nice that they're showing they're working on it. But we're several years behind, and those who got their Haslabs, they have theirs one and done. It's all done. So that Haslab was a pretty good Haslab. Bingo Toys, and it looks like they're going to get in on a Computron. Now, this is Computron competition, and I'm curious how that's going to go. And here we go with... this is a picture I selected that has several figures in one, so that you kind of see what's going on here. And there's 3 already, and yeah, BT08. And then I guess we're getting ahead of ourselves, so that's it. Computron, I think it's going to be cool. There's no pictures of the actual Computron, just pictures of the figures and the alt modes. And look forward to seeing more out of Bingo Toys. All Magic Square brought to the game was this stuff they've already released for the most part, because Swindle's already on the way. I've already reviewed Brawl, and I'm excited they're moving through this very fast. They're moving through this quite quickly, and I'm about to review the last component to make up their Legends one and build the Legends one completely. So with all of this, this is exciting in a way, but it's still already there. Why did they not reveal any other Legends figures? And it's kind of curious. And I haven't seen much in the Legends department from Magic Square lately. Are they going full on Masterpiece, or is it consuming a lot of their resources to make this Masterpiece? Kind of curious, but anyway, I'm glad they're doing it. We get into 01 Studio, the one that made that well, technically it was a Zeta Unicron, but it turned into 01 Studio one. Now they're making what appears to be a Devastator. They got some good pictures, so good looking pictures. And the figures look a bit stylized. So do the alt modes. The alt modes look a bit on the stylized side. And then here we go with, so far, all the figures that they have been working on putting together. This is as far as you can get to building a Devastator. So 5 Devastator Masterpiece scale Devastators coming at the same time. They're also doing some... It's interesting. They're doing... It looks like it says a Dino Combiner Erebus for a swoop. And it looks like it's an animated version. These look all like the animated versions from Transformers Animated. So it's interesting there. Knowing myself, I will probably get the swoop, just have the swoop. Because I'm kind of in on the swoop. But probably won't get the rest of them. But that's just the way it is for me. Then we got the Snarl. And that's fun stuff there. Looks pretty decent. The bot mode of the Snarl. So all this is pretty new. These are all renders. There's no actual prototypes yet. At least nothing was featured. Then we got Sludge. And starting to look pretty stylized and different. Now those spiky things they got going on there, that's different. That's a whole different way to go with it. But is that reminiscent of animated, or is that just their flair? I really wasn't huge into the animated arena. I had a few of these back in the day. I did unload most of the ones I had. I had them for fun. It was cool, but I just didn't have space for them. But now in a Masterpiece scale, will be pretty cool. They do look pretty good for what they are, and they're pretty interesting. And then what really got people excited is this broadside. And we've heard of it, or we knew it was coming. This is a pretty good picture of it. And we're going to see another actual prototype. So what gets me excited is when they can say, hey, we've already got some work done on this. Not just watching a whole bunch of slideshows of digital renders. What I like the most so far is what it's going to look like in this mode. Got that whole Yojo flag feel going on to it, you know what I mean? But then we get into the ship that it turns into. It's a giant ship. And then we have this here. So that's just a Coke can. So that's how big it is versus a Coke can. No, it's not going to be like Titan class, but it's still going to be a pretty good sized bot if you're in on this. Then they showed off something that looked like a Metroplex. It's called Fortress, and it is going to be a pretty good sized figure. So it is very stylized, though. If that really is a Metroplex, they didn't show anything about that being in the alt mode. So anyway, this is the start of another project that seems pretty impressive from Zero One Studio. Then getting into this, they had the only thing X-Transbots showed was the video that they showed of the misfire, and it was already up on their Facebook. So it's strange that that's all that they offered for a TFCon third-party panel. And with that, it's almost like, let's just stop revealing stuff because we're just going to get Fans Toys bot blocked. Like everything we reveal and we're working on, Fans Toys just jumps out and bot blocks us. So let's just not reveal anything till we're closer to releasing it. That's my gut feeling on what they're doing. Because like they've gone kind of silent other than some reissues and stuff that is about out. But yeah, it's interesting what they're doing. But still, it's a good figure. Misfire is definitely needed in the Masterpiece realm. Now getting into Fans Toys, but you know, Fans Toys try and stay out of trouble with the Fantastic Model name. So everything with Fantastic Model they think they're going to get in trouble with. But here are their figures in prototype form, it looks, and painted. And I'm going to say they don't look bad. They look pretty good. But do they look better than X-Transbots? I don't know. And now I'm starting to, the closer it is to the final copy, the more I'm starting to think, I don't know. I think X-Transbots might be as good, if not better. But hey, we'll all figure that out when these show up. I'm still going to pre-order mine. Now there's some differences. You can already see some differences in them. But like the chest, it's like a tiny little window inside the chest. As to where X-Transbots expands it out, I might have to do some comparison side-by-sides down the road. But the side of the chest cleans up a little bit better, but only a little bit better, not light years better or anything. So these aren't perfect. Again, nothing's perfect, but these aren't perfect. They're good, they're solid. Then again, so is X-Transbots. So be fun to do that comparison when it comes in, and I won't really know till I have it in hand which one I like the most. But they got some glamour shot pictures here, some cool stuff going on. But yeah, yep. I've heard some people saying they feel like X-Transbots and the Fans Toys are both fails, and I don't feel that way at all. But I do feel like they're upgrades from Takara, big time. But I don't feel like they're grand slam right here. There's some accessories it comes with. So yeah, this is one of those point of contention. What did they call these? They call it Doc for Ratchet and Warhorse for Ironhide. Then they get into their hook for their Devastator, and I mean it's not over yet, and I don't know, but I've got the gut feeling I'm gonna love their combined mode, and it's gonna be my combined mode Devastator. So sorry over there, sorry Toy World Constructor, and all the 18 to 21 different variations of Toy World Constructor. Alright, here is the alt mode, and it looks pretty good, which is important because that's what the combined mode is going to be based on. And then combined mode, there it is, and man, you've got that whole Fans Toys aesthetic that is hard to beat. Man, that looks good. That looks really good. And so, yeah, I mean, it's hard to say that doesn't look pretty darn cartoon. Slightly a bit more in the real world than the cartoon, but yeah, that looks good. And here it is side by side with the one they've already done, which I was pleased with their first release on this, and it's going to kind of suck just him sitting around as a chest for a while, but there it is. Now, this one really bothered me because I'm going to tell you this. Their Sovereign first release came out, and I passed on it because I had the DX9. The reissue came out, I passed on it because I had the DX9. I didn't pick a Sovereign up till the M came out, and I said, you know what? I like the colors a little bit better, and I got it for a decent price. from Show.Z. And so I went ahead and got it, and I felt, yes, it's better than the DX9. But I didn't feel like it was perfect, and it was amazing, and I was always interested in X-Transbots putting theirs out, but now X-Transbots is hitting and putting theirs out. They do a 2.0. So this tells me that they either view their first one as a fail, or they just want to bot block the X-Transbots one. But either way, I mean, doing a 2.0 is admitting failure, and that's what Spindrift was when Neptune came out from X-Transbot. It is literally just them admitting failure, and with that, I don't like that kind of strategy, the bot blocking, it's not really bullying, it's competition. But what other figures could they have been making instead of giving us another Galvatron? Everybody I know that owns the Sovereign 1.0 is content with it and happy with it. How many people are going to want to drop $250 to upgrade something they've already spent a lot of money on and are happy with, to say it's 10% better in their opinion? And the other thing is, I don't think that they truly improved the alt mode. It is improved alt mode, but it's still not nailing it exactly. But it looks good. But is it great? And is this worth upgrading? The other thing is, most people are like, well, I'll just put my old one in alt mode, but that was where its biggest weakness was. So you can have your new one, or you can get your new one and put it in alt mode. I mean, it's just weird that they're doing this. Nobody has to buy this, but they could be working on something else that's more necessary, that fans want more. Am I wrong? I mean, sound off in the comments below. Am I wrong? Or did I hit the nail right on the head yet again? I'm not going to say it looks bad, because it does look good. It looks good. It looks great. But it doesn't look like 50% better than their old one. It looks like 12% better than the old one, which the X-Transbots one still might look better at the end of the day. Kind of like Cup. I like the X-Transbots Cup better. I think it looks better. All right, let's get into fans' hobby. And here's the MB-18A Obsidian Commander. And it's available at Tfcon. So we've seen all this, so there's no reason to really spend a lot of time on it. But we're just flipping through a couple more pictures of this thing so that we can say we talked about it and move on in case anybody misses out on it. Now, this is cool here. Blaster team. There's two different sort of blaster teams. Several different blaster teams. There's the swords, the shield, and the gun. Looks like a rifle, laser rifle. Lasers. And then here we go with, what is this one? MB-25. So I need Energon Wing Saber. Is that what that is? So, looks kind of cool. And then it turns into what looks like a Star Wars B-Wing, except with a bunch of colors. Am I wrong? Yeah, I'm not wrong. And then here it is on the back of an Optimus Prime, doing his thing, or whatever, in Optimus Prime mode, with the wings out. Okay. Alright, getting into some MMC. This one is the Ultio Senator, and it's a purple version of the... I don't know. It's a cassette. I don't understand exactly what it is. It's a Decepticon. It looks cool. It's interesting. I'm not sure. I believe this has something to do with was it Studio Ox kind of stuff. And there it is. A little bit better look at both of them. Cool looking stuff. RMX-18. And then the Groove. We've looked at the Groove last week, and it looks pretty cool. And this set looks pretty cool too. I mean, it looks like they've done a good job. The all-in-one is kind of a bit of a challenge. It does kind of set it back in some areas, but it's still kind of cool. And the figure Groove, their insert picture here. It looks pretty good. I've got this coming in. So in my mindset, I bought one from Swindle. So I have their Swindle to compare to Magic Square Swindle that comes in. And now I'm getting this. So I'm getting one of each of their combiner, just kind of one of the figures to handle and have an idea, be part of that whole process. But I'm not buying the whole combiner set. Now getting into this one here, this is the... I want to make sure I got this right. This is Chop's Rotor, and it is their G2. I believe it's a G2 or one of those recolors. They're recoloring their Bruticus, and that's what's going on here. And then another picture of, this is Interfector Bone Crusher, which looks pretty cool, pretty interesting. And then here is the Destructor Devastator. And something about this, and I'm sure we'll get more information about it in the future, but they say something about a color change gimmick. I don't know what that's about. Does it really change colors? That's cool, interesting. Is it light? Is it temperature? What causes it to change color? Or was that just like not really supposed to have been in there? I don't know, but I thought it was interesting. It's a color change effect. And then we have another picture of this here. So I want to say that it looks pretty good. I believe the all-in-one is affected the way the torso, the pelvis. The biggest problem with it is in the pelvis, and that's just because it's an all-in-one. So there's no parts forming to it, and if you love the all-in-one, you're gonna love the all-in-one, and you're gonna deal with the fact that the pelvis is a little bit off. It's that, but it doesn't make the whole thing in itself still looks pretty good. So I'll give them that. Last one we have here is Drift. It's the IF-02 Stray, and that looks pretty cool too. So there it is. That wraps up Tfcon, and pretty fun, pretty good pictures. But if you look at it, you've got Fans Toys over here just putting out pictures of stuff they're trying to compete with X-Transbots on. And then X-Transbots saying, we're not putting new pictures out. And they didn't tell me that. It's just my assumption. But they're not putting new pictures out because they don't want Fans Toys to start trying to copy them and bot block them. I'm going to have to pick up the original and pick up the pace. This is not made in New York City. This is the Studio Series Devastator and the 1027 live stream. Well, it was an event. It wasn't really live. And so with that, we saw this Devastator looks pretty good. Pretty good. Some people are arguing that it doesn't look as good as the Combiner Wars. If you want an 18-inch Devastator for you can get the Combiner Wars. It'll work for your Masterpiece display, side by side, built side by side next to the 18-inch ones. But it doesn't work well with your standard every other combiner is the problem with that one. So with that, then you get into this is going to work. Stand side by side, about the same size as their Minosaur and all of that kind of stuff. But I think it does look pretty good. And I think they're getting the colors right. They're working on that green. It's going to be a little bit different than that when it comes out. But I think they've done pretty good with it. So for the most part, this is going to be $210. I think the math's right. There is going to be a $90 Commander class. It's starting out. There's going to be 2 Deluxe, 2 Voyager, and a Commander to get this done. The first Voyager and first Commander are up for pre-order. I pre-ordered 2 of each because my son wants one and I'm going to get one. And so that's the route we're going with that. And hopefully we get them all. And they say they're going to make sure that they get it. Wham bam, thank you, man. Done in 2025, and there'll be equal amount of product for each wave of figure. And some interesting sort of window package shots. They look really small in their package, though. I want to point that out. Like, they look real small for the amount of money you're spending. $35, and then for $25, just they don't take up much of that package. Doesn't feel like a lot of plastic in there, but anyway. 6 spots combining, and yeah, $210 plus tax if you're like in on this the whole way. But you don't spend it all at once, which is the good thing. And they said no box set for at least 2 years. So if you're waiting on a box set, it's 2 years out. With that, we're going to move on to all the other news because we're already at the 30-minute mark, and it's probably going to be a 40-minute video then. So this is the Mondo Real Ghostbusters up for pre-order right now at the Mondo site. And you have to get it through Mondo's website and get the exclusive Ghost. And if you go with just getting the figure, the Venkman figure, or as for all 4 sets, there's going to be the same way, then you can get that at BBTS and a few other places. So that's the theory on that. So I would say if you want the Ghost, you're going to have to only get it through Mondo. And if you pass on it for the $202 price point, then the chances of getting that Ghost in the future is going to be almost impossible. I mean, everything's possible with enough money, but not for $100. So the extra $100 now is going to save you 2 or 3 down the road if you want the Ghost. And I'm just putting that out there. I'm still on the fence. I don't think I'm deep enough into this, and I've got other things I'm working on in the vintage realm that I don't know if I can just swing $850 after tax and all that for a set of 4. But I'm almost in on it. It's just, I don't know. But this is the Super 7 Toxie Slime Glow Edition version, and this one is 7-inch scale, Super 7 Ultimates. The way it was packaged, I was thinking this might be the next one of their deluxe for $35, but no, it's $55. And so I was a little excited. I've got one of these already, and then I did get whoever made one that was like the original, just reissued, which was cool too. That was at Walmart. But this is something you get from Entertainment Earth, Big Bad Toy Store. It says it's in stock and available right now. If you're in on this, I do not believe there's a huge Toxic Crusader following. I don't. And it seems like they're not going to get deep on all the characters. They're just going to keep putting Toxies back out to try to make enough money back on their licensing fee. So that's a challenge that Super 7 has to overcome. But I would like to see those who are in on this to get every character. Like, get it deep enough that make it worthwhile collecting this. That's my only major concern. Because all I do is feel like every time I turn around, there's another version of Toxie. And I got one on sale for like $20. Okay, we got McFarlane and the DC, and they have their... What exactly are they calling all of these? Because this is some different stuff. This is the Multiverse Swamp Thing Planet Ron. And then it's the Multiverse Batman Detective Comics 587 Night People. And then there's the Clown Black Light Edition Gold Label. And if you're in all this... I'm not in on any of these, but I do think the Batman looks cool. The Batman. And Swamp Thing, you don't see much of it. I would probably be on a standard Swamp Thing. Just one. Don't need any other variations for me. But that's the only thing I'd probably be interested in. Alright, so this is Hiya Toys Godzilla vs. Kong. The new Empire. And this is Kong Beast Glove version. I didn't watch whatever movie this is from. And it's due out second quarter 2025. It's priced $51. It is 6-inch scale. So I don't really think that's a bad price, considering this is just such a unique item and a unique product. And Hiya Toys does pretty good work, so I'm pretty pleased with everything I've gotten from them so far. Man, the video's getting too long. It's cutting me off. Anyway, if you're in on this, then check it out. And then next... Alright, so the Multiverse Batman and Robin Batmobile is live. It's $109. It's available everywhere, and it's not sold out anywhere I've seen. So if you want this, you can get it. You can do it, but it's not for me. The 89 Batmobile is where it stops for me, but I still think it looks cool. It looks interesting. I've got one of the vintage one of these somewhere in storage, but it's cool. It's interesting, and if you're one of those that absolutely love this, I think it lights up and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I know there's been a couple of versions of this. No figure, just a vehicle complete with lights and sounds and other specs. Here you go. If you're in on this, well, you're still chasing it, I guess. So, the Tiger Paw with Wreckage, Tiger Force, Classified, came back in stock on the 1st. And on the 2nd, I'm looking and it's gone. It's in and out of stock. Let me tell you this. I found one random one at Target on the shelf during a time where it was like the 20 off of 75. So I grabbed this and I grabbed one other thing and it made the 20 off 75. So I feel like that was just super awesome luck. And so I've got one. Pretty cool. It's pretty cool that we got it. But if you're still hunting it, I have a feeling more will show up in the store. But I can't make any guarantees to anybody anywhere. I can just say, maybe I just got lucky, but I have a feeling other people get lucky too. So keep looking and hunting if you're into this. So here's what I want to say about the Nemesis Immortal. I did order mine. I ordered 2. And not based off this picture, because I didn't really like the head sculpt. But I think these other pictures make it look a lot better. I want to point out something real quick. If you look at this, I think I've cracked the code of what's going on with Haslab. When it says sold out, but it says green in stock, then that means that they still have stock. But they're filling orders and for whatever reason, not putting it back up. And that means that if it has that green in stock, then you need to check back frequently. If you really, really, really want it, check back 6 times a day, every half an hour or whatever, which it sucks you'd have to do that. I mean, that takes me back to back in the day with Viper and all that kind of nonsense. But that means they still have stock. Once they're sold out like they are now, that's a red dot, or it's not a green in stock. So I want to just point that out to everybody. And then also, the reason I ordered mine was because of this. It looks so much better with the proper head and these better pictures than the nonsense that they had at that London event, which was pretty much consistent with other pictures I've seen in the past. But this head does look a lot better. It does feel more retro, and I'm starting to have some concerns about whether we'd ever see a retro reissue, because we don't see deluxe scale stuff get retro reissue. The only thing that we've seen retro so far is that Cobra Snow Trooper. That one got reissued with a very scaled down, and it's a pretty big figure, but I don't see how they can scale this down with the wings and all that kind of stuff. I just don't see it. So with that, there's probably not going to be a retro. I don't know, but it's already come back in stock, gone back out of stock. Will it be back in stock again? I don't know. Crazier things have happened that they get a whole other shipment, but I said I'm going to go ahead and get it because I'll probably never get what I really want, and this is close enough, and it looks way better now than it did. All right, next up we've got Master of the Universe Skelecon stuff going on right here, and it is up for pre-order if you want to get it at Entertainment Earth, probably BBTS also, and it says you got to order the whole case at Entertainment Earth. You get a case of 4 figures, and yeah, that's kind of interesting. Anyway, there's the box, the packaging to it, if you're in on this, and in all reality, it is kind of cool, but yet it is just a slight reuse of a Skeletor into a whole new character. Alright, so getting into the Super 7 Ultimates Wingnut and Screw Loose Glow in the Dark. So these are reissues as Glow in the Dark at BBTS Entertainment Earth. $75, I'm definitely not in on that, but some people might be. It's interesting, cool looking. I go the NECA route, not the Super 7 route, but fun. If you're in on this, you might want to pick it up, and of course I'm covering it so I can put TMNT in the title. Alright, we got a picture of these page punchers, which I should have included it with the other segment of DC, but whatever. I've missed that point. I really like the look of this Superman, and I don't like buying the same characters over and over and over, and I'm really satisfied with the first one I got from them, but just the look looks amazing, and so I might be picking up page punchers, 7-inch page punchers, which is strange because I thought those were supposed to be the little bitty figures, but they started doing this whole 7-inch page punchers too. Doesn't really make sense, but I guess it makes Todd some dollars, so he's going to do it. Shazam looks good too, and you know this whole look and aesthetic that they've got going on with these two figures is exactly right up my alley. So it's like I'm wanting to buy it on it, even though I don't want to buy more of this stuff. I still think they look really good. Right, so time to get into some Star Wars news here. Here we go with the Ghost. If you order the Haslab, it's arriving soon. Coming soon to your front porch, I assume. But it looks pretty cool. There's also this Scout Trooper. Let's get that picture up here. The Scout Trooper. This is the cheap one. You know, the real cheap kitty looking ones, 5 POA. But it feels very reminiscent of Kenner in a way. But instead of the whole thing blowing up, you push a button and it throws them off. The seat ejects forward. Just like throws them off. Almost kind of like, what is that toy line? Crash Test Dummies. It's got a Crash Test Dummy gimmick. Yeah, so that's kind of interesting there. And then last week I forgot to show this picture of Sepulpa, and it's from the Pod Racing. It is a Black Series figure of Sepulpa. I think it's kind of cool. It's kind of interesting. And it's going to be a small box because he's not a big character. And I always thought this was one of the weirdest characters in the prequels. But, yep, Sepulpa. Alright, so we have Black Series Skeleton Crew figures available on Amazon right now. This would include Neil Wim, KB, Pirate Captain, Brutus, Fern, and Nada Nawood. I haven't watched the show, so I'm not much up on it. But anyhow, some people love it, some people hate it. That's just the way it is, and that's all the knowledge I got about it. And there's an elephant. Is it an elephant kid? Alright, so we've got some reveals here. We've got some figures, vintage collection for an Acolyte figure, young Fandar, what was that? Fandar, and then Obi-Wan Kenobi from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series for the vintage collection. And we've got Savage Opress from the... Which one is this from? The Clone Wars. This is the brother of Darth Maul, and as you can tell with the horn head thing he's got going on there, so that's kind of cool if you're in on that. And I'm not gonna lie though, I'm not super ultra excited about any of these releases. And then they've got a picture here of pre-orders up for Disney Store, and this is the armor and the armorer's forge, sort of a playset, more of a diorama piece, but you get the figure in there with the card back, and there you go. And I guess the biggest news is the TFC chopper, and it looks pretty cool. This one is the, what is it? Imperial Disguise, and they're going to go to town with the choppers. Yes, they are, and it's a cool figure. I remember when they first released it in the first Rebels series, which is like a 5 POA line of figures, that it was super popular, like a $50 figure, because nobody could find it. I found mine, though. I got mine. But it's still pretty cool overall. Anyway, Rebels. So what do you think about this week's Weekly News and Review? What do you think about TFCon? Are you impressed, disappointed? Is it kind of like reruns? But let me know in the comments below. And what else did I miss this week? What other cool stuff is going on out there? Because there's a lot going on. But I had to just kind of cut it off because the news is getting too long. Like, subscribe. Peter Mayer out.